But the problem is our misalignment or our injuries or our belief systems. A lot of times when we're caught up as the victim, we rotate and we protect our heart and everything. We create this mantra of my body is not working for me, it's working to me.
Alrighty, everybody, welcome back to this week's episode of It Takes Grit with me, Rebecca Louise, and I'm so excited because I've got a very special guest on the line today. Not only did he reach out to me because my toes were out of alignment, he is also a major speaker for Tony Robbins as well. So, Brian Bradley, welcome to the show. I'm so excited to have you here.
Yeah, thank you so much. Look, I'm always super, super high energy, but I think I may be beat by you. I think my energy's here, and I think yours just doubled it. Maybe that's why you're going to Everest, and I'm going to watch it on TV. That's good.
You're going to watch it and also help me do a really great job of breathing and getting my body in alignment. And, if you guys don't already know, those of you who've watched Tony Robbins, you've probably seen this face before. You probably know of Brian, but he's the Vice President and Brand Development Special Programs for Egoscue. So we're really going to dive into that as well today. He's a motivational speaker, spoken in over 15 different countries, and has just created something unbelievable to really help people with their alignment on their bodies to being pain-free. I think a lot of times we go to medication, we go to surgeries, and there's some things that you can do way ahead of that, which Brian is going to go through as well today. But first of all, I want to know, how did you get to this position where from like a photo on Instagram of my feet, this girl is out of whack? Like, how did this even start? Back us up, Brian. What was baby Brian like?
Well, that's a good point, because baby Brian started with, I was working for Health South Physical Therapy years ago. And those of you in the PT world know that I came out of university going, if your ankle hurts, it's got to be your ankle. If your back hurts, it's got to be your back. If your shoulder hurts, it's got to be your shoulder. If you're not losing weight, it's because you're fat and you're eating too much. And I use that word fat because that hits, since it's just us girls, we'll talk about it. That's a word that hits on the emotional depression judgment side. I have a different outlook on that. Because when I ran into Pete Egoscue, the guy's name Pete Egoscue, he came out of Vietnam, created the method based on the injuries that he had. He was told that it's in his head. So after he flips the guy's desk over and says, I'll solve this on my own, I ran into him about 20 years later, so 30 years this year, when he said, the position of the body dictates the bigger, faster, stronger. And I'm like, no, the work you put in dictates bigger, faster, stronger. So took me some time, probably 90 days, because I'm not that sharp. Literally, baby Brian had to look at it from weightlifting, trying to get as big as possible, playing rugby, doing this, blah, 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 I gotta get bigger, not knowing that the leg and foot and ankle and lower leg break that I did have, and the 2 ACLs that I had on my left side, were causing me to be a right side dominant athlete. So I was deviating from this design that's over my left shoulder. And because of that design mishap, it's not mishapped, I would have blamed something like CrossFit or pickleball, which both of those are equally hurting people right now. I would have blamed them for hurting me instead of saying, well, what happened with the body that went into it? So think about that. If y'all listen to this, can just sit back and close your eyes for a second and go back to your injuries or your limitations and say, am I doing the most that I can and the best that I can to have my body serve me for those activities, or is my body fighting against me? And the body's really never fighting against you. It's just trying to get back to this homeostasis position. But the problem is our misalignment or our injuries or our belief systems. A lot of times when we're caught up as the victim, we rotate and we protect our heart and everything. We create this mantra of my body is not working for me, it's working to me. And we all know what that means. It's going to be a vicious cycle. So you mentioned breathing. I just happen to have 2 books here. These are great books, by the way. The Oxygen Advantage and Breath, right? So these are amazing books on why breath is so important, maybe different concepts, or how to breathe better. Kind of important if you're going to go hike a mountain, a massive one, right? So you're going to get to the peak. You were talking about your feet. If you came to me and said, I want to breathe better, I would instantly look at your knees and feet, because the foot itself, let me pull this picture somewhere here. Where are you, sweetheart? There you are. Underneath these books. This is a picture that I have on my Instagram, and just look at this ankle. So that's a runner that I filmed off of a commercial on TV. So if you take a look at that picture and you say that person right there should be, look at that foot and ankle position, and where should it be? Well, if there's that much stress, take a good look at that right there. If there's that much stress, look at the varicosities coming up the side of this, look at the veins doing that, and the collapse of the ankle and foot. The problem is that if you have a toe that's pushing out like this, or a bunion that's forming at the base of the big toe, or you constantly on one foot are getting like calluses and corns, but you're not getting them to the other, you better start asking, I wonder if one of my tires on my race car is out of alignment. And instead of putting a new tire on, like shave all that stuff down or surgically repair you, why wouldn't we change the alignment like we would do on a Ferrari or something that we were on a road course on? So when I saw, you're on Instagram doing a lot of stuff, and I'm looking, I'm going, oh, let me take a look. What do I see? It's my job to pick that stuff out. Like if you went to the dentist, you don't want to hear things are great if things aren't great. My job is to not be your friend. My job is to tell you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear. We'll eventually be very good friends because you're going to love what I tell you. And then you'll say, how do I fix it? And we say, here's the solution.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. And that's the most important thing, is like being honest, right? Because you can't help anybody unless you're being honest. So take us back. So you went through doing, you went through your training, and then how did you meet Mr. Egoscue? Like, how did you even come in contact there? I want to hear that story real quick.
That's an interesting one. I was working for Health South, and a physical therapist came back to me and said, hey, listen, I just came from this interview at this place because somebody told me I should. You're going to be the right personality for that. I'm like, okay. I'm like, well, what's it pay? What's the insurance? Do they offer dental? Have you seen this face? This face takes a lot of stuff to be perfect. Since it's just us girls, I can say stuff like that. And I went over and had the interview, and I just said, listen, I'm the best at what I do on Biodex, on Cybex testing, on this, blah, blah, blah. And they're like, yeah, okay. And I'm like, wait a second. You just crushed my significance. Like, I'm the best. They love the certainty and the confidence, but they knew they had to erase everything that I had learned over here, pull the blinders off, and teach me everything over here. And that's when Pete Egoscue and I met, and I ran into a 6'3", 220-pound major from the Marine Corps out of Vietnam, and he and I hit it off well enough because I was the antithesis of that. And he said, oh my God, you're so weak. And I said, buddy, I'm squatting 465 for 4. I'm benching 315 for 3 or 4. I'm doing this. He said, oh, I'm not telling you that you're not linear strong. You are not athletic strong. You are not balanced strong. You are not climb Mount Everest strong. And that's what caught me. He didn't say the Mount Everest thing, but I'm trying to tie it back to what you're doing. So when you say it takes grit, it took grit for me to take that pill. And go, buddy, I don't think I want to be kicked in the groin like that. I don't understand. You have to understand, the reason I was weightlifting and working so hard is that my significance was tied to bigger, faster, stronger, and looking the part. Mm-hmm. And then you realize who you are later in life, and you dump all that baggage. Mm-hmm. And you say, listen, life is about moving straight ahead, looking 360, enjoying life, being in the present. And right now, like where I'm at in life, presenting this kind of stuff and giving people an advantage, literally an unfair advantage. Like you have such an unfair advantage because you've been doing some Egoscue stuff. If you've done all your other training, you should be in the right place, where there are people who play different sports, like this person who you might know, the world might know, I'm not sure. Let's see here. Who came into this fight with an unfair advantage, and another guy who came into the fight with an unfair disadvantage. So here's Khabib and here's McGregor. Look at McGregor's posture. He went into the fight with such an unfair advantage he couldn't breathe, versus look at Khabib standing straight up and down. And then, so I took pictures of this fight. My son's freaking out like, Dad, we only have so much time to watch the fight. I'm taking pictures going, I'm sending this to his camp. He has no idea what's going on. So then I got him 12 days before his next fight, and look at that difference. and he won in 44 seconds. So that analogy is for everyone on here. I know this is a male I'm talking about. Let's say your audience is almost 100% female. I was raised with sisters, so I'm basically a chick. I know what you're thinking when I say to you, are you fat? And they're going, oh, well, that's judgmental. That's this. I don't like what I look like in the mirror, blah, blah, blah. You don't understand why I'm fat, because what happened to me before, I have to stay this way to protect myself. Versus if I said, what if it was PHAT instead of FAT? And then we put in front of PHAT, we put those letters in front of that, and it spells lymphatic. Mm-hmm. So when you guys are working your butts off with Rebecca Louise, and your butts aren't coming off, and you're going, oh, Rebecca must work harder, she's getting better results. It's true, because she's committed to that. She made that change, but she's also in a better alignment that allows her lymphatic system to serve her. So when I show you this picture, and I show these because I want you to be motivated by the time we're leaving here. This is not on a lecture that you're not working hard enough. Trust me, you girls are working so hard, sometimes too hard. This is a before and after in 90 days. Look at the difference on this young female. Mm-hmm. Don't just look at the posture, because she's out of pain in black, but look how much different her posture and her fat is from gray to black. Mm-hmm. So her workouts didn't change. We just gave her a better body to go to Rebecca to work out with, mm-hmm. which ultimately made Rebecca's job easier. Because Rebecca... Mm-hmm.
And the results quicker too. They're going to get quicker results. That's the thing, if your body's in alignment.
100%. And if you're dealing with somebody, I'm 54 years young. I'm 1/3 of the way through my life. So I'll let that sink in for a little bit. But if you think about somebody who's 54, somebody who's 24 doesn't have the patience that a 54-year-old with wisdom and experience has. They want something right now. It's instant gratification. It's TikTok, it's Instagram, it's this, versus going, because I don't do if. When I put in the work smartly, I can train less and double my results. And by the way, I'm living pain-free. Because my body is from here.
Mm-hmm. The big thing is that pain-free, because so often, I'll have people say, oh, I did the workout, but like it didn't quite feel right. And often it's not even an injury. It's just because you're out of alignment. How do people even know that they're out of alignment? Like, what do they need to do? How do they go, well, I kind of feel a little bit off, but like, how do you even know to begin with that you're out of alignment?
Well, why don't we, number one, we won't do this now, but number one, you could be home, strip down to something you're comfortable with. So in your house, close your drapes, bra and underwear, guys in a pair of boxers, whatever. Stand in front of a mirror comfortably, close your eyes and feel where your body weight is left to right and front to back. So those of you listening right now, if you want, you can stand up, close your eyes, take your shoes off. Where's your body weight from left to right? Where's your body weight from front to back? And if it's not even, then you can assume something up the chain is off. Now we're going to go to the visual, face the mirror. I'm going to have you open your eyes. Are your shoulders level? So for example, let's say you're looking at Rebecca right now. So Rebecca, drop your left shoulder like 2 inches. If that was what she looked like, and she was talking alignment, look at the wall and the grid that's behind her on those tiles. They're going straight across and up and down, but her shoulders are now like this. And if you did this long enough, you sat like this, your head then says, well, I'm going to start going with you, so I better cock over like this. And now your body thinks it's standing evenly, and then you wake up with jaw pain, headaches, digestive issues, my knee hurts. And you think it's a knee problem when it could be the deviation from this design. It's that simple. Mm-hmm. And if you're out there, well, I go see a chiropractor, blah, blah, blah. Okay, great. Listen, the chiropractor is right. The physical therapist is right. If you find one who's an artist, keep them around you because they're so rare. But wouldn't it be nice if you got chiropractic help or physical therapy help when you wanted to, not because you needed to? Like, I want you coming back from Everest in one piece, meaning I can do this again, bring it on. Not I got there and my knee was killing me so bad that I had to have surgery. No, that's my goal, is to try to not allow our activities to bite us in the backside. Mm-hmm. Because how disheartening or depressing is it that I'm trying to bust my butt, but it's not busting. In fact, thank God my mirror in my bathroom is from my waist up because I look amazing. But from my waist down through my middle thigh, I'm actually getting bigger because my lymph system is not able to purge waste products or byproducts from my workouts. You're actually working out and getting bigger. I mean, that goes against everything that we want.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So once you've like realized, you're like, okay, great, I feel wonky, I'm like a little bit off. What's the next step there to be like, okay, so what do I do about it? Because it's like, great. I mean, and it's very normal, right? I want people to watch this or listen to this and be like, oh my goodness, there's something wrong with me. Like I'm out of alignment. How many people do you think are walking around being out of alignment?
I'm going to show you something that I filmed in Florida. This is an amazing video. This guy, he probably would have had me arrested for creeping up on him, but I had to get this on video because his gait was so far off. And I know the guy was trying to be in shape, but here's how simple things could be done. You could have somebody film you walking on your iPhone. So you're the one that owns the footage. And if you want me to look at it, I'll give you some contact information here to go, well, I wonder what Brian would say about me. I'll make sure that you have some places and just give me some time if you DM me and all that stuff. Cause I just left UPW. We had 25,000 Zoom rooms open. I got crushed for 2 weeks with DMs, but I finally got through them. But I'm willing to answer all my DMs on Instagram and stuff. But check this out. This is a guy that's walking. And all I got to say is, look how different the arm swing on one arm is compared to the other. And look at the calf size on one leg versus the other.
Man, yeah, wow.
See how his right arm?
It's just swinging way more.
That's correct. His right arm swinging, but his left arm isn't.
Mm-hmm.
So I told him, now listen, I'm in a Tesla when I was there, so I was totally stealth, right? So I pulled up beside him and I go, how you doing, bud? He's like, oh, I'm doing well. I said, listen, I work with NFL teams, Major League Baseball, a lot of pro athletes, blah, 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 blah. Here's my book, Pain Free, all that was through Pete Egoscue. Can I just show you a video of your walking and how we can help you?
No, you didn't.
I swear to God. So he goes, yeah. So I pull over, I get out and I go, look at this. And I said, that's because he goes, well, I sprained my ankle when I have a bad knee. He doesn't have a shoulder problem because the one arm swinging, the other arm doesn't move at all. That's all part of the adaptation or compensation that's trying to splint his hip and knee and ankle problem. So I had him start walking like this with his elbows being back like that. Why would I do that? Because that's the antithesis of one arm not moving. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to put these in the same plane. And all of a sudden he turns around and he goes, I actually feel lighter. Now you saw the guy, you saw his build. He was carrying a couple pounds, but yet his words were, I feel lighter. Can you imagine what that creates? Because thoughts are cellular. His thoughts changed about himself. His judgment changed about himself. Can you imagine what that created on the internal environment? Mm-hmm. That was my opinion. That was his coming out day. Mm-hmm. This was his day where he's going to, massive, massive, massive. Yeah. I don't know what happened to the guy. I've never seen him again, but I love the gait pattern.
But you took the time to like make a point and say, hey, I can help you. Like, I mean, that just like changes people's lives, just that type of care. So, okay, so it's very normal. Like most people are probably a little bit out of alignment. And so what is the next step? You've looked in the mirror, you know that you're normal, you have a little bit of alignment issues. What do you do to get yourself back into alignment?
I have a jealous French bulldog right here going, why am I not on camera with you? I'll put you on camera in a second, but it's not all about you. I'll take a hike.
I have a dog on my lap too. She has to sit here. So I have a dog on my lap too.
I'm in 100 times going, why aren't you playing ball with me? So I would say, here's another thing you guys can try. And when you contact me, I have a place for us to go where I either send you to a website to get that book. That's our newest book that's on the market, Pain Free. It's in the yellow, it's version 2. Or I will, like I said, I'll get you a place where we can do the Egoscue Anywhere exercises. You can at least try those. And when people want something serious, they get a hold of me. But as an interrupt, if everybody could stand up, and here's another test they can do. They can do this as a test. So we gave them the balance test. We gave them the hey, what do I look like test. Now they can give themselves the forward hang test. How far can you go without bouncing or bending your knees? And what does it feel like? Most women have really good range of motion, but they still have some other symptoms going on. So having said that, I have a lady in here who did this. She's in her, it's the first time she's never been able to touch her toes in her life. And this test is so functional. There she is 12 hours later. Her daughter brought her back over to my booth at a UPW. She's never touched her toes in 50 some years of life.
Wow.
So I'm going to test it here. And then I'm going to put an exercise right here. And then I want you to redo that. So what I want you to do is I want you to stand up and I want you to turn your toes in 45 degrees. So you're literally standing pigeon-toed. Hands behind your head like this, elbows back. And now tighten up your thigh muscles so you're pushing your knees back standing. That'll feel like your butt sticks out. So let's recap. Toes are in 45 degrees, quad, your thighs are tight. Your shoulders are here, down and pulled back, and you're going to hold that for a minute. And we're going to keep talking while they're doing it. Then we're going to test. Close your eyes. Where's your balance? Look in the mirror. Where's your shoulder position and head position? Then we're going to have you bend over, touch your toes with your feet back in a normal position. And then I want you to ask this question. Why is it different? I'm not asking, is it different? I'm asking, why is it different? Because it's different. Because what you did is you taught the muscles in your body to wake up that muscle right there, that long muscle called your psoas. When you took that leg and turned it in, you actually facilitated a different relationship right here, which then pulled on your spine and gave you this. And now that whole mid-back opened up. Here's another thing to think about, 15 seconds left. If you're in an argument with your partner or your kids at home and you're going batshit crazy, like you're going to lose your mind, I promise you, walk into the other room, stand like this with your feet pigeon-toed, quads tight for 1 minute, come back in, and I dare you to feel the same way you did before. Because once your body's more congruently aligned with this, your thoughts have to be different because the receiving mechanism is different. Okay, come out of that stance, put your arms down, shake it out. Close your eyes. Where's your body weight left to right? Where is it front to back? Why is it different? And now bend over, touch your toes, and tell me what's different about that. So that's the kind of stuff that I want to hear when you get a hold of me on Instagram or Facebook or something like that. I want to know what happened because that's going to be my question. How did your body respond to the work we gave you on the podcast?
I love that. It's so funny that you talk about doing this exercise and then going into another room when you're having an argument with somebody, because my next question literally was like a simple exercise that you can do when you feel stressed to feel less tense. And I'm like, that's perfect. Like we're literally so aligned on this. And that was one of the exercises that you gave me to do, is doing this, is to bring it in. Is to do this one. Yep. And that was a simple exercise just to open up my chest and my back, because, you know, I'm always sat like this. And I think, how many times do you want to do that? If we were going to do like a set, because I know that I've got mine, I've got the cat and cow, I've got a wall sit, I've got a couple other things as well. But the Egoscue method, it really doesn't take out much of your time, does it? It's probably like you can get all your exercises done in like 15 minutes in the morning. Does that sound reasonable?
You could get it done in 3 minutes.
You can get it in 3 minutes. Okay. Well, Luke takes longer. And everybody who's listening, you can hear this funny story, because before we got started, I was telling Brian about how Luke likes to do his exercises in the shower. And one of them, he's like literally got his arms like right on in front on the wall, and he's like bent over and his like butt's in the air. And I'm like, this is a lot for 6 a.m. in the morning. But yeah, literally takes 3 minutes to do.
For example, this is the position that he would be in. And those of you who do yoga, you understand this position. There's his butt, okay? There's his feet, and there's the wall. And you're just letting your body, pull that way, and you're letting your arms go that way. So really what you're doing is you're putting back the natural S curve in the spine. And to do it first thing in the morning, great call. I love every minute of it. Please don't send me those videos. I don't want to see those.
I'm going to make sure that you see them, because you know he's doing his homework.
That's true, but I will tell you this. Here's cat cow, which we call, cat dog or whatever. But if you've done yoga, here is the cat position with the head down, and you'll love my artwork. But here is the dog position or cow position where the person's looking up. Now there is cat cow. Okay. Now Here is the head. Here is the hip. And here's the mid back. I'm going to label these. If you make this change in yoga, you could put me out of business. I dare you. I'm going to put what should be moving first, what should be moving second, what should be moving third, in this order. Your pelvis and the way that it tilts should be unlocking you. But what's going to happen is those of you that have done this, you're going to find yourself doing this. Cat, cow, cat, cow, cat. You're going to be pushing.
Mm-hmm.
And the same thing for downward dog. If you're piking up into the downward dog, kill the word push. Put yourself up there and then feel from around the hip area, pull back into it. Mm-hmm. Calm your language, calm your mindset about it, pull yourself back into it, and you will get 100 times more benefit. And by the way, when you start hip driving exercises, your butt shrinks. I'm telling you right now, it is the fitness secret that I need to make not secret.
Mm-hmm.
When a hip-driven movement attacks any machine or anything in the gym, your results go up 100% with less work. Yeah. But if you've been there misaligned from this, then it feels like climbing Mount Everest on your hands.
Mm-hmm. So if we were to take those 3 exercises, because they're like my favorite, the one where you're in the, your hands are in front of a wall, you're kind of bent over, we'll call that the Luke move. How long would you do that one for? And then we've got this one that you bring your elbows in and out, and then also like cat cow. Like, what's a good little set that you could do? Like, people are going like, well, how do I have to do 20 sets of these? Is it 100? Like, what does it look like?
Let's say 15 to 30 of these, feet straight standing. Now remember, I have a video that I can show people with this. We have the arm circles, we have the overhead extension. I can send them those exercises, not a problem. Like if you did cat cow, 10 of those each way, 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, but make it a pelvic driven first, mid back second, head drops third. Try to sequence it that way. It's a whole different story. And then the one that Luke does in the shower, the counter stretch, you could stay 30 seconds to a minute. But listen, it's I showed you the pain-free book. All the exercises, a lot of them are in that book that you could pick and choose. But the philosophy is, my body is serving me no matter what position it's in. I've just got to get it back to a more efficient position. Like I don't think there's anything as bad posture. I think there's a compromised posture based on the body trying to correct itself off of something else that happened. So when I show you this picture of this 78-year young client of mine in my Tokyo clinic, 78, this is 90 minutes later. I don't want to hear any complaining that age is a problem when you can make that kind of change.
Wow, that's amazing. So, I mean, he's just standing up like, he's just grown like a foot. She grew like a foot. Sorry.
Young, that's okay. Masa is a 78-year young female with her granddaughter was the therapist in our Tokyo clinic. This is how people learn, right? I'm looking at her going, oh my God, somebody take a picture. So we take all these pictures and I ask a stupid question, Masa, and they translate. How do you feel? And she's like, I feel the same. And I'm like, I'm sorry, what? I ask a stupid question. Because if your pain was a 10 and it went to a 2, it's still there. Mm-hmm. You don't even notice the difference unless I say, is the symptom different? Has it changed? Oh my God, yes, it's so much better right now. But when I showed her these pictures, she started crying. Because in the Japanese culture, I let my granddaughter down because I'm no better. But when I showed her that picture, it was one of those, great job, granddaughter, look what you've given me, my life back. Mm-hmm. So the rewards are massive if you're looking at rewards versus going, well, I guess my body's here to fail me. No, it's not. Whatever God you believe in, and I don't care which God you believe in, but my God did not make a mistake.
And that's such a key point, is it's like so often and I see it too, it's like, oh, I can't work out today because I've got like this injury, or I can't work out because like this happened, or like and it's just a story. Oh, I'd love to work out, but it's kind of like that victim, like mentality. And it's like, hey, why don't we just like figure out maybe something's off alignment with your body and that's why your ankle's hurting. Or, you know, it's like, well, I've always got this pain. This is just who I am, right? I'm sure you've heard this before. Like, you know, I'll just never be able to do upper body workouts. I can do a lower body, but I just can't. So really you're saying like the first step is the mindset. And this kind of goes back to what we were talking about at the beginning. It's the mindset of not just accepting your body as it is, if it's just something that's out of alignment. Because I mean, how many times have you heard someone talk themselves out of doing something that could be challenging and physical, you know, just because they're saying that their body can't do it? Really, it's just a different kind of fear.
And 10 minutes later, somebody forces them into it. And then they come out going, oh my God, thank God we did that. I feel so much better. So it's overcoming that obstacle. I'll give you 2 quick examples. One of my favorite stories is this young lady walks in, sleeveless shirt, spiked up hair. And right away, I looked at her, I go, if I fought this girl, she's going to beat me in a fight. Like I was afraid, like I'm just joking with you. But my therapist brings me over and says, Brian, can you help Stephanie with her menu? This is her last visit. And I said, yeah, of course. And they're like, well, what exercise do you want to do? And I said, well, I'm going to talk to her first. And they're like, I don't need all that mental mumbo jumbo. She's doing fine. I said, is she still hurting? She goes, yeah, well, her symptoms are no better than the beginning. I said, hey, last time I checked, our book wasn't Pain Stays the Same. The book is called Pain Free for a reason. So bring her into my office. And I sat her down and I said, what's up? And she's sitting up like this, like, so I went to the opposite. Jimmy Buffett, lay back. I said, what's up? She goes, what do you mean what's up? And I said, let's discuss some stuff. Let's discuss some stuff. And she goes, do we have to do this again? And I said, look, I'm only doing this because I don't believe this problem is physical. And she goes, what do you mean? And I said, well, for you, in order for you to get better, you have to believe you can get better. I'm not saying you don't believe. This isn't a Disney commercial, all that stuff with the, you know, the things going across. And I said to her on purpose, what does your partner think about you being in chronic pain? And I used the word partner on purpose. Partner used to be tied basically to only the lesbian homosexual world. Now you can have a partner, blah, 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 whatever. But I said it on purpose and I pushed the P. What does your partner think? This is a belief system thing. She looked at me like she was going to kill me. And I'm thinking, I'm going to get beat up. This is not going to be good. She sits back, breathes out, mirrors my posture. Now, Mrs. Jimmy Buffett sitting over here. Hey, all right. And she goes, Francesca's amazing. I've never known love like this before. So I go like this. Oh, okay. Francesca, never known love like this before. Because right away I'm saying, I wish Francesca could say that, but because of your limitations about who you are and what's right or wrong, I guarantee you, you're not giving Francesca 100%. Mm-hmm. This is no longer about back pain. By the end of the conversation, she says to me, because she came from North or South Carolina, deep in the Baptist Bible Belt, whatever people believe in, I don't care. But her belief system was, I was always a problem for my family. So I'm going to move from North Carolina to California. Wherever you go, there you are. So you didn't escape anything. The minute I mentioned her mother, she starts swearing because her mother was the reason for all this. And I'm like, no, your mother feels guilty. She thinks she did something wrong to cause this and the church is judging her. And I said, okay, by the end, how you doing? And she said, I can't believe I'm going to say this. I'm homophobic. And I said, well, how's that working for you? You're the homo. And that broke her state. She chuckled and goes, I can't believe that. And I said, so you have homework to do. I'm not going to give you new exercises. Do the ones you got last week. Understand that you are worthy of living a pain-free life. You're not a hindrance to your family, circle, lifestyle, religion, blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. But I'm going to tell you this. You're going to go home and you're finally going to show Francesca a love that she has never experienced before. And she came back 2 weeks later and scraped up on her arm, like bloody, scabby. And I'm like, oh my God. I walked up, I high-fived her. I'm like, what's up? I was not giving her a chance to start that violin. And she said, I'm good. She goes, I flipped over my mountain bike on Noble Canyon. I said, oh, I used to mountain bike that all the time. She goes, yeah, I got up and my body's serving me. I said, how's it going at home? She goes, unbelievable. Thank you so much. And I said, well, don't blame me. You made the choice. Did you call your mom yet? She said, I haven't gone to that level, but I can understand what you're saying. I said, yeah, what you really need to do is walk up and give your mom a hug and say, Mom, it's okay. It's not you, it's me. Instead of, Mom, I hate you. Can you imagine hating your mother? And I promise to every one of you listening out there, I lost my mother just prior to COVID. And I'm the boy. I'm the only guy that breastfed out of 5 kids. So yeah, that might be why I'm a little off. But my mom and I were like this. And when you lose her, you don't get her back. So if you have these emotional limitations keeping you from the love that you deserve and all that, I promise you that when you make the changes physiologically, you'll start loving yourself more, and the judgment about yourself goes away. And listen, since it's just us girls, I know all about your deep, dark secrets when you look in the mirror. I've seen it for 25 years and every other female that I've been around. And guys are worse because you guys will at least talk about it. Guys pen it up inside and then we go and kill things. Mm-hmm. So you already have the advantage of being a chick. Now just start helping yourself and serving yourself. I'm here to listen. I'm here to help you. I'm here to provide some information. I hope it's helpful.
Oh, that's amazing. What a great story just to close out on. It really is mindset. It's that belief system. So if anything's going on with your body, yes, get that alignment, but also check with how you're thinking. I loved it. The other day, someone, said that how did they grow as a human, or how did they grow and scale their business? It was that they started to question the belief systems of themselves, and they started to question the belief systems of people who were more successful than them, and started to engage in their belief system. I mean, that really is what it is. It comes down to like the belief that you have, and questioning your own belief system. So I love that. What a great story to end on. And thank you so much for adding so much value to all of our audience and offering to help people as well. What's the best way that people can contact you, follow you, support you, give you lots of love? Which is the best way they can find you?
Okay, so my Instagram, I'll show it here. You can see by my name. It's under, I'll let it go right there. It's under The Brian Bradley on Facebook and that. And then we also have Egoscue Method on Instagram and Facebook. I only chose The Brian Bradley because Brian Bradley was taken by a hockey player at the Tampa Bay Lightning and he wouldn't sell it to me. So let's be honest, I'm not that narcissistic to put a "the" in front of it. So The Brian Bradley, and I do answer my own DMs. You can go to egoscue.com, click on there, get some information from us, all that stuff. Let me think. I also have a URL that we could put egoscue.com/podcast. And that'll put you kind of in a nurture series to go, what's Egoscue all about? It's more education than anything.
Fantastic. Well, we're going to put all of the links for everybody just right below. So, I'm so honored and so blessed. Thank you so much. I'm just like, now I've got to go and do my own Egoscue this morning. I've not done it today. So now it's just a great reminder to go get that done and why to do it as well. So thank you so much, Brian. I appreciate you. I appreciate your time. And thanks everybody for listening. Make sure that you go and follow Brian, give him lots of love, and we'll see you next week on next week's episode. Bye, everybody.